Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen and welcome to my dear friend Parya. Parya Zagand imports beautiful Persian saffron from Iran. And so I've asked her to come along today to tell us how to prepare it, what do you call it?
How to brew and brew. So basically
Brew and bloom, is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
So brewing it using hot water,
Yes.
and blooming it using ice.
Ice.
Yeah.
Okay, please tell
Sure.
us.
Well, there's a reason there are two techniques. One, which is the most traditional way, is using hot water because it was available and it was immediately available. And basically that's how, when I was growing up in the kitchen, that's how I saw it. Eventually, blooming came into picture as thinking, how do we actually make the most out of saffron's color, aroma, and flavor by not introducing heat to it, so that it doesn't, so the aroma doesn't really evaporate. And yeah. So then we started using ice. By grinding saffron, basically turning it from threads, the stamens that it has, into powder, what you're doing is you're turning the saffron into this fine powder, or crushed basically. So it infuses much like any other spice, where
So
you
it
actually
has more surface area.
surface area to infuse and exposed to basically any liquid that you're infusing it.
But can I ask, talking about powder, there are saffron powders or saffron powders on the market.
In the market.
They're too easy to adulterate, right? We
Absolutely.
want to avoid them.
They still call it saffron, and I've spoken to a few people that the suppliers of those ingredients. Like, why do you even call this saffron? There is no saffron in there, but they call it saffron coloring, only probably because it has the yellow color, like a saffron.
So we're going to buy beautiful saffron stamen,
yes,
and we're going to crush it up ourselves.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be ground into a fine powder.
No,
we just want to
so
break
if
it
you
up.
don't have a pestle and mortar, basically, just crush it between your fingers. As long as there's little particles so that the water, you can infuse it properly in the water, that's good enough. And basically, we talk about a pinch of saffron. A pinch in a Persian kitchen is totally different to a pinch that you read in a recipe. Well, first of all, smell the saffron. Even the aroma of it is pretty healing. So saffron has got great health properties. Antidepressant, basically boosts the mood and all the rest of it.
Just the colour boosts my mood.
Absolutely. So, the aroma of it is a really good determining factor when you're actually choosing your saffron. If there is no aroma to it, don't buy it. Yeah. So a pinch of saffron. Generally, if you're really pedantic about how much is a pinch, it's about up to 15 strands, basically. But this is my pinch.
Well,
So,
given that every saffron crocus only produces 2 stamen or 3?
Three
So, stamen.
Yeah, every beautiful purple flower, crocus flower, is only 3 stamens. So it takes about 150,000 flowers just to get you a few hundred, maybe up to 400 grams of saffron.
Wow. So when you say a pinch is 15 stamen, that's already 5 crocus flowers,
yes,
and they're harvested by hand. I've seen it in Iran. Women, some men, bending over, squatting low in the
before
fields.
the sunrise.
Before the sunrise when it's freezing.
Yes.
Because they grow very low on the ground.
Yes, they do. Yes.
So 5 flowers worth is a pinch.
Yes. So we're going to put the pinch in a pestle and mortar, and we're just going to be grinding it. Traditionally, they would put a little bit of rock salt or just a little bit of sugar cube, basically, in there, just to make it, if it's absorbed some moisture, just to make it a little coarse so that it grinds easier. We don't really need to use it. If you decide that it requires that coarseness, yeah, you can put it, but we don't really. And this is a really good.
It is a handy little one. I love this.
Yeah. Okay. All right. This is ready. Then what we're going to be doing, you will still have a little bit of a strands, longer strands in there, which is great because it's going to give your dish quite a great look. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be adding hot water.
So not boiling, but quite hot, yes?
Quite hot, yeah. Well, you can boil the water, just rest it for a couple of minutes and then add that in. Saffron requires time basically to infuse properly in any liquid, well in this case water, because you can also infuse it in rose water and some other distilled waters.
But not in fat, right?
Not in fat. It doesn't really quite dissolve in fat.
You want to
So
put this back in here so we can see
yeah,
it?
we can show it. I would just maybe stir it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use that?
Please. I think every wooden spoon in my kitchen is stained with saffron or turmeric or something.
All right. So I'm going to then pour that into this, hoping that I don't waste this beautiful
Do you
thing.
want me to hold that? There we go.
Okay.
Get rid of that.
All right. So we see this golden liquid color. The secret to a nice liquid saffron is really time, as I was saying. So you need at least 10 to 15 minutes before you add this to your recipe for it to infuse the color, the flavor, and the aroma. If you even infuse it overnight, even better.
So maximum, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But you'd cover it, right?
You
so
would cover
the aroma doesn't escape?
Escape as well, and that's overnight. If you can keep the liquid saffron in the fridge for 3 days, 4 days, it starts eventually to lose that beautiful aroma and flavor, but it doesn't go off. Okay. So even if you didn't end up using it in a dish, add it to your tea and drink it.
I think Persians have more ways of using saffron than you can imagine. So this is brewing saffron.
Yes.
Let me get you some ice and we'll bloom some saffron.
Sure. All right, now we're going to get another generous pinch. Grind it in a beautiful...
Can you show me, if we don't have a mortar and pestle,
yes.
how we just grind it with our fingers?
Absolutely. Can I just do it on
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
So just crush it as best you can, right?
Yes. Make it, turn it into these little pieces so that they can expose to the liquid as much as you can.
But we do want to grind up our ice, is that right?
No, now that I've actually used my fingers to do it, we don't really need to. So I put it in the little glass,
yes.
And then we just put the ice over on top of it. Okay, all right. I'll lick my fingers. Okay, all right, that's great.
So we have saffron in the glass and ice on top.
Ice on top, yeah.
And this is a new technique.
Well, yeah, I've only seen it recently. Some Iranian cooks do it basically on the internet. I have not seen my mom doing it or my grandmother. But doing that, I've tried it, yes. And it's beautiful because the final liquid that you get actually has more of the red color, the saffron red color in there, rather than the yellow, golden, orangish color.
And if we're going to do this, I mean, obviously we have to wait for the ice to melt.
Yes,
but what would you recommend? Half an hour beforehand, an hour?
Room temperature, yeah, at least half an hour. And the reason, as I said, we do it with hot water is because it's quicker. It's immediate, you can do that. But if you have time and if you're into that rich red color, use ice.
Bloom it, don't brew it.
Yeah.
Parya Zagan, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Happy brewing and blooming.